But the soul, this invisible, divine, organizing intelligence, slept in beams of light, formless, dimensionless, forever. That's where you have to go, to that place that scientists who are now telling us what metaphysicians said for centuries, that it's within you, that the kingdom of heaven is within you, that bliss is who you are, that in every cell of your being there is a physical world, and then there is a silent, empty, invisible space in there as well. And that silent, empty, invisible space is what you have to access, go to, be able to know that it's there, that you're not alone, that that divine guidance is there for you. Realign yourself so that you are a spiritual being having a human experience instead of the other way around. Realign yourself to know that how I use that invisible intelligence, that divine organizing soul, that God that is within me, how I access that is what determines what my entire physical life is. And if I doubt it, even for a split second, if I doubt it, it's going to impact on the outcome of everything that I do. And if you're listening to these words and you doubt that and you think that that's not possible, that is what is going to be manifested for you in your life. One of the things I do when I am having doubt, like if something comes into my life that I really want to go away and believe that I've got the lesson for whatever it is, and I've got the lesson, okay, now I want to send it out. And if I have the thought that I can't do this, or that this is bigger than I am, or so on, I remind myself in the quiet moments that my thoughts are creating this stress that I'm experiencing in my stomach or wherever I'm experiencing it in my body. And instead of just trying to pretend that that thought isn't there, I just say, next. Like, okay, I've had that thought, now I'll take the next one. And it's like almost instant relief from that tension or from that fear. And then if I have a tendency to bring that thought back, notice I don't say if the thought just comes back, because I bring it back. I'm in control of these thoughts. If I have a tendency to bring it back, because that's how I've habitually trained myself to handle crises, by just thinking about it and analyzing it and performing this intellectual violence on it by analyzing it over and over and cutting it up, and that's how I've trained myself to do that, and that's not something that I have to have. There are people who have very quiet minds in the world who go into silence for 12 years, don't even speak. There are people who can handle crises and know that it's only a crisis if I process it as a crisis. There are people who know that. So if I'm not there at that moment, next thought, and it's like a slideshow. It's like you click and you bring on another thought, and you bring on another thought. And if you do this enough time with repetition, constantly repeating yourself, you eventually create new molecules that don't allow those thoughts to do anything that is destructive for you. But I used a key word in there, and the key word is fear. Those fearful thoughts are the opposite of love. And what you have to really learn how to do in order to experience real magic is to eradicate the fear and begin to say, what is it that I'm afraid of? Who can really hurt me? What is my corner of freedom? What can really happen to me? Am I afraid of being put down? Am I afraid of failing? Am I afraid of disapproval? Am I afraid of someone not liking me? Am I afraid of not making money? Am I afraid of not getting the promotion I want or not closing the deal? Now, the opposite of fearful thoughts is acceptance or tolerance or kindness or love or acceptance. Love and fear. If you know what love is, it's because you've let go of fear. And when you let go of fear, you've let go of doubt. And when you begin to realize that nobody can hurt you and nobody's opinion can do anything to you, and that there may be physical consequences to some of your behavior and so on, but that the pain that you're afraid of, the rejection that you're afraid of, is all in your mind. It's all in your thoughts. And you realize how empowering it is to not be concerned about that any longer, and to let that go and to think in non-fearful ways. Before long, you start to process your whole world in a whole new way. The doubt has stopped, I can do this is substituted for I don't know if I can. The I don't know if I can originates from some crazy kind of fear that is only a mental process. But that fear creates the chemicals that create all kinds of dis-ease, not only physically in your life, but in your relationships and in your ability to manifest prosperity and in your ability to create health for yourself and in your ability to have the kind of talent that you want and to have the mental stability and to have the relationships that you would like to have and to have your business go the way you would like and to have your relationship to your children be the way you have a knowing. When you were a little baby and you were crawling and then you stood up for the first time, you weren't worried about whether or not you could do that again. You knew it. It was built in. You have that confidence within you to do it. See, you were born with the instinct to know. And in the first few years of your life, if you don't have someone who's really knocking you down, you're doing that. You know, you gurgle, and then after you gurgle, you try to get a little letter out, and eventually you get a little sound out, and then that sound turns into a sentence, and that sentence turns into a language, and you don't ever tell yourself, I'm never going to get this English language. It's just too much to it. Verbs and pronouns and dangling participles. There's none of that. That all comes later with doubt and fear. Knowing and trust are your inheritance.
This is the end of Side 1. Side 2 is already queued up for your listening.